Hey there, friends. This is Dr. Bill, and I want to differentiate on this video the three different parts of the ELAR and SLAR test. Reading for elementary, about 24 questions. That is the reading of the content and then just the understanding of it, whether it's a paragraph, a sentence, a word, or the whole thing. Revising is taking the content and using your arm to add, remove, replace, or move something. Editing are those shorter passages where you're improving the conventions. So reading, understanding content, revising, improving content, and editing, improving conventions. That's the difference. So in today's video, the most missed question for third grade in revising had to do with a central idea of a paper. Now, that's my right hand, even though it looks like my left. This is my left hand, okay? So whenever they say a central idea of a paper, it means that whatever idea that you choose, it has to be a little bit about the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. And a lot of times when students are picking a central idea about a topic, they only focus on one part. The central idea in this selection that we're going to look at just happened to be in the second paragraph. So if I touch that second finger and I wiggle my muscles, I won't be able to feel them moving because that's only about one piece. Okay. One of the answer choices was only about his sisters, which happened to be also just in one paragraph. So I'm going to use my primary folder that I have on sale today and tomorrow for a special price. It's the dual language ones that have editing, revising, reading, writing. Let me kind of show you how they kind of work hand in hand to help you help your students and supplement, honestly, some of the horrible things that are out there. Okay, in English, we have revising. Like I said, my arm will add, remove, replace, or move something. Notice that I didn't use the word substitute because that's a person who takes your place in the classroom when you're not able to be there. Okay. I've never seen the word substitute on our Texas revising test, so I would suggest that you don't use what they don't use. When you say something, it means, am I going to be doing one of these things to a word, a phrase, a transition, a sentence, a paragraph? Am I going to combine, when you're combining sentences, you're moving them so that they stay together. Sometimes because kids struggle with reading, another arm can be actors remember more. Act out that paragraph or that story or whatever. Artists remember more. Draw a picture. Spanish, revisar. También es arm, brazo, but I have an acronym cream in English and crema in Spanish that I'll share with you very quickly. And I have a little activity for it. Cream is something that you add to a banana split or a uh, the strawberries with cream. So cream can be combine, remove, replace, eliminate, add, or move. Crema, same thing. Combinar, remover, reemplazar, eliminar, mover y añadir o agregar. So the Spanish arm, if you wanted to stick to these dual language folder, is what are your students adding, removing, replacing? Agregar o añadir, verde. Remover, rojo. Reempezar, verde. Mover, amarillo. Una palabra, frase, transición, oración, o si estamos escribiendo un ensayo, tal vez puede ser un párrafo, pero por revisar no es parte de revisar. Lo más que podemos hacer uno o 200 oraciones que vamos a cambiar en una manera. También en español dice, si no entendimos qué estamos leyendo, podemos escribir otro arm que dice actores recuerdan más, same thing in English, or artistas recuerdan más, where they can draw pictures to kind of like paint each picture. So what I recommend that you do is draw a picture of an actual arm. Okay. So here's the question, here's the passage, and I went ahead and numbered the paragraphs. And so because you can't really put numbers on an online test, on your lab work, your lined and blank paper, you could quickly number the paragraphs 1 through 6, or you can do what I did and draw a little hand. Okay. It was the third grade most missed revising question, number 27. It got 34%, and there are the details about the kind of question it was. And so let's look closely at it and see what might have happened. Chun has written a weak central idea for her paper. Which sentence, singular, should replace? So remove and replace. So we need, if you look here, we need to remove something so that we can replace it with something else. And normally, the reason you remove something, especially for a central or a controlling idea or thesis, is because it's too vague and you want to make it more specific. And that's what happened in this case. Okay. So sentence 10, and when you look at it, sentence 10, it says, now he is famous. Okay. In my opinion, a good central idea should not be so vague. So the idea is remove things that are vague and replace them with something that is more specific. So first, let me look at the answer choices. A said that today, Tommy de Paola has probably read hundreds of books. Well, when I wrote out in my hand the main ideas of each paragraph, it wasn't about reading books, it was about writing them. So that was not the content that we had. So you would not choose that as a central idea. Today, Tommy de Paola is just one of many great authors. Okay, if I say that, that's a loss of focus. And so if you see in the center where I have C, I have my central idea, or for writing my central idea statement, it takes away from the focus if I'm talking about a bunch of other people instead of just Tommy de Paola, because all the paragraphs were about him, and I'll show you what I wrote in those fingers in a moment. Okay, Letter D said, today there is a book about one of Tommy de Powala's sisters. So when I looked at that, I was like, well, just because paragraph 2 has the weak central idea that we're replacing, you don't need to use only paragraph 2 about a time that he wrote books for his sisters. So that's not a central idea about an entire paper if it's only about one paragraph. So the correct answer was today, Tommy de Paola, a very specific person, is one of America, a very specific place, most beloved authors. Okay? So it says not that just he's famous, he's one of the most beloved in all of the United States of America, and he's an author, so it kind of says why he's famous. Beloved is a positive uh, adjective, so I put a little heart in there. So let me close by sharing with you what I wrote because there were 6 paragraphs. My graphic organizer that comes with your advanced folders and primary folders in English or Spanish have this. And so here's a revising. So if you look at the hand, that's the content. And at the bottom of the hand, you see an arm that, as you see, it says add, remove, replace, or move. And all of these are different skills that your kids can earn. So learn over the years. So on the real test, all they kind of have to do for these 8 or 9 or 11 revising questions is draw a hand for the content and an arm for whatever they're going to add, remove, replace, or move. So let's take a look at it. I wrote in the fingernails, paragraph 1, Tommy wanted to be a writer. Paragraph 2, writing for the family was what he started to do. And suddenly we kind of whiplash forward. Now he's famous. To me, that's a little bit too vague. So you want to replace vague with something more specific. Okay. Paragraph 3, where it's examples of books and awards, books he wrote and awards he received, not anybody else. He's the focus. He's the central idea. He's the topic. Paragraph 4, he wrote books on different topics. And when you do that, you create interest from different people. And so that leads to a cause and effect relationship that you'll see in a moment. Paragraph 5, even his art in his books are unique, which is a positive character trait. Still talking about him and the art that he chose to use. And if you think of the last paragraph, shoe has laces, and a lace ties everything together. What's the topic? What's the title? What's the idea, the introduction, the ending? What are all the specific supporting sentences? Well, it says that his the children all around the world enjoy his books. So it does sound to me like this young man is, according to letter D, one of America's most beloved authors. So 34% means that only 1/3 of the students understand that a central idea about a paper means it has to be the center of everything, not just one paragraph or one scene or one section. So please do me a favor and share that with your writing teacher friends. I want to finish up 3rd grade, so I'm going to be doing a little bit like the most myth. I think I've done the 2 math questions that were the most missed, but I'll do some Spanish math, and some Spanish editing, revising, reading, because I've changed the name of my group to the 2024/2025 ELAR and SLAR Right Prescription Club. Thank you guys. God bless and take care.